Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, we're back outside the squared circle. I'm Frank. That's Dennis. We missed last week, so we're gonna pack in three fights in one. We're gonna first talk about Manny Pacquiao's coming out of retirement. It was the same amount of rest that he usually gets in between fights, but we won't get into that. But he did come back. He looked fairly solid against Jesse Vargas. Dennis, what'd you think about the fight?
Um, remember what I can remember. I'm sorry, guys. Usually, I never want to try to come and BS you guys because usually before every podcast, if it's not fresh off a fight, I study it. I have no points and things that matter, so I can come with you with an actual fresh perspective on it and just not winging it. But it's been so much boxing, like with this week, trying to cram it in, so I didn't get a chance to really go over that one. So I'm just gonna go off what I remember. I'm not gonna just try to BS you like, okay, it's still fresh on my mind like it happened yesterday. But from what I can remember, it happened exactly how I thought it would. If that makes sense to you,
Yeah.
I thought Vargas would be outgunned because Manny would be too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Manny would be too much for him. Vargas has tremendous heart. He does. He's a warrior. But there are levels to this. There are B fighters. There are even B fighters. There are A fighters, and then there's special. And even though Manny Pacquiao is not in his prime anymore, even though Manny Pacquiao is a little, he's older, you can see it. But you still got to be elite A game fighter to beat Manny Pacquiao. Now, what I thought was Vargas, to me, it seemed like he took a page out of Marquez's book.
Mm-hmm.
The counter punching, because he counter punched well. He even hit Manny with some good shots that backed Manny up and made Manny rethink it because Manny was doing good with the speed and in and out, and he was being aggressive. And even when he dropped Vargas, but Vargas hit him with some shots that made Manny go, do I want to continue to do this because this can be bad? He really caught him a few times. Vargas had a good game plan. He did. I give much respect to his trainer. They had a good game plan. It's just that they were outgunned. Manny foot speed was too much for Vargas. Even though he tried to do a good job of keeping him in front of him, using his lateral movement, but he couldn't contain Manny. Manny hand speed and foot speed was too much. He was hit. Manny, I don't want to say he did what he wanted to, because Vargas contained him in certain spots, was what made the fight competitive. Because it could have just wound up being like the Chris Algieri fight where Manny was just overrunning him. But Vargas, you know what I mean? Vargas was able to make it competitive because he was thinking in there. Or like he did the opposite of what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was just going to be a macho, machismo, just run and try to gun and see who can knock who out. He didn't do that. He came with a well-articulated fight game plan. He thought it out. He was thinking in there. The thing that nullifies speed is timing. You can have speed like Gamboa, but if you see what a guy like Crawford did, he actually take his time, and he was behind in those rounds. That's just to piggyback off that fight. You seen how when it first came out, Gamboa's speed was giving Crawford so much trouble, but then he nullified it by being patient and counter punching, and then he caught him good enough to where he hurt Gamboa. So that's what I thought Vargas was trying to do. He was trying to nullify Manny Pacquiao's speed behind him, but he still was outgunned because a lot of people don't give Manny the credit he's due. He is a smart fighter himself. People just think Manny just all fast punches and in and out. He actually is an intelligent fighter himself. Not to say that he's not Floyd Mayweather intelligent,
Right.
but he is a thinker. So that fight, right now, I would love to see Vargas against some guys on his level. I would love to see a Vargas Berto fight. I would love to see a Vargas Porter fight. You know, where we can see his guts and grit actually come out and he can compete with those guys. Not saying that he will beat them, but he'll darn sure compete with them. And I think those will make for some good fights. But I want to touch on this really fast. I'm hearing rumors that Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao met in the hotel afterwards, like last time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna make it fast. I don't know if it's true, but I gotta say this. I kind of want to see it again, not because I got Manny's shoulder excuse, because this time Manny knows there's nowhere in heaven, hell, or earth he's gonna win a decision. He has to come in there and beat Manny Pacquiao. The Manny Pacquiao, even if that means he gets cast. Even if that means he gets KO'd, he's gonna have to come in there and fight and give it his all. It can't be these two timid old guys that's afraid to get hit like we seen last time. And I think this time the tension is gone. Like the fight was really odd the first time. It was like a lot of tension trying to figure each other out. I think that is out the window and they just go fight. So that's just my opinion on that. What you think?
Well, first to start off, you said the fight went exactly how you thought. The fight actually didn't go as I thought. I thought Manny, the way Manny looked from round 6 through 12 is how I expected Manny to look the whole fight. Vargas held his own, though. I think I underrated him going in because I didn't think he had nothing to offer Manny. I just felt like his footwork wasn't there, his ability to counterpunch Manny, his ability to corner Manny if Manny wanted to use lateral movement. I just didn't think he had anything to offer. But just like you said, and a lot of people have been saying this, and I agreed, was that he took a page out of Marquez's book. I mean, he hit Manny with a lot of really good counter right hand. Even in rounds that he lost, I remember, I want to say it was round 7 or 8, he buzzed Manny.
Mm-hmm.
And then speaking of buzzing Manny, Jesus, Stephen A. Smith was so bad. Anytime that Tim Bradley would make mention that, oh, Manny might be hurt right now, and or Stephen A. would, he's not hurt, and it's like, come on, dude, like, why are you arguing with someone who's been in the... Yeah. What's your definition of hurt? Like, dude, like he's been punched, and then Tim's like, well, I know that look. When you get punched and you have that look, like you felt it. You know what I mean? And Tim was right the whole way. I don't want to get off on that tangent because that Stephen A. really annoyed me. But no, Vargas did do a lot better than I thought he would going into that fight. But the thing that stood out to me with all that is because I saw it as it was happening, and I think even the commentators said he's kind of taking a page out of Marquez's book. And I said, man, you know what he really is? And that to me shows how great Juan Manuel Marquez is. Because you can take 100 fighters, you can take however many fighters and implement that game plan, but not many can do what Marquez did. Manny is still so fast even at this age. Manny's still so explosive. And Manny has the power to keep you at bay. I don't think he has the power he once had. I think him fighting bigger guys has finally caught up to him, but he still has the power to keep you in check. So it's hard for you to sit down on that punch. There were times where Vargas got him, but he didn't get to sit down on it. It's so hard to time. It's so hard to sit down because you have to respect Manny so much. And that to me just showed me Marquez's greatness. You know what I mean? So that was something to think about. But I've heard the rumors of Floyd and Manny, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be next. Just the fact that Floyd went and watched that fight, we knew it was coming. We knew that. I mean, that's the only realistic fight for Floyd to come back at. He's been off for over a year now. It's been a while since he's been out of the ring, so he's not gonna fight someone like Keith Thurman or someone like Errol Spence, one of the young guys who've been active, because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense from a boxing standpoint, and it doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint. The only person that's going to get him that payday is Manny. I mean, and we're not dumb. To touch on that for a little bit, you raised a good point, and that, I mean, I'm going to watch the fight, but I'm not all that excited about it. I would certainly hope that respect factor each way is gone, because last fight just felt like such a sparring match. You know, it didn't feel like either guy. I mean, there was 5 years of tension built up, and you felt every piece of that tension in the ring. But usually, that you know, as the rounds go on, that kind of goes away. And especially when Manny hit him with that left hand in the 4th round, I said, okay, now it's gonna get going. These guys are gonna, you know, really go. And even after that, it was like, they're just going through the motions. It felt like. So like I said, I'm going to watch it. Of course, I watch every fight. I mean, I'm watching prospects on FS1 on Thursday nights. You know what I mean? Right. So it's not like I'm not going to watch the fight, but I'm not really excited for it. That being said, I don't really know who I want Manny to fight next. So why not Floyd? You know what I mean? Like him versus Terrence Crawford would be interesting, but I don't think that makes very much sense for Manny. I mean, Terrence is he's ripping through everybody right now, and he's not going to get paid. The fight that I guess what I'm trying to say is the fight for both of them, where they'll have the least amount of damage inflicted on them, is going to be with each other. It was clear that both guys can't really hurt each other, and it was clear that in some ways both guys nullified each other. You know what I mean? They landed the least amount of punches on each other in their whole careers. So, I mean, from that sense, why not do it again? But I would certainly hope that if it happens again, that we see some glimpses of the old Manny, because that's the only way he beats Floyd. He can't outbox Floyd like he tried to in the first fight. He had good glimpses and he had rounds where he did outbox Floyd, but you're not going to do that for 12 rounds. You're not going to do that for the 7 rounds you need to win. Floyd's going to beat you every single time. You know what I mean? So in order for Manny to win, he needs to outwork Floyd. There's no outboxing Floyd, not anyone at 147. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll see what's next. As far as Vargas, though, you're right. There's plenty of fights. I would even, if Broner's coming back up to 147, I think that would be a very interesting fight. You know what I mean? There's plenty of good fights for him at 147 still, because even though I had it 117, 110, even with that said, there were some closer rounds. He's a good fighter. He's a much better fighter than what I gave him credit for. The thing is with him, I just wish he would set up his punches better. It seemed like there were times where he would just completely telegraph, like his left hook, and he telegraphed it every single time. If he can get a better check left hook, I think he would be in much better shape. But I mean that's all I got on that one, man. So the next, did you want to add on?
The last thing I would even say to add to that would be to say it's only one fight. If they don't fight each other, that makes sense. Just one. The Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman winner.
Yeah. Well, for either or for Floyd?
I think for either one of them, that's the only fight that it makes sense, especially if it's Danny Garcia. Because I think Danny Garcia, he gets beat by Manny or Floyd easier than Keith Thurman would. That's just my opinion.
I agree. All right, so moving on to Luis Ortiz versus Malik Scott. There's really not much to say about this fight, man. I was going to just pass it over to Dennis, but I'm going to just get off what I got to say for the 30 seconds I have to talk, and then I'll let him talk. So, Malik Scott did not come to win that fight. I mean, he came to survive. It was clear as day. He was looking for way outs of the fight. He got hit. You know, he was in the back of the head as he was ducking, which is legal. He was begging for rabbit punches. He didn't come to win. 2, I do not think this, I don't think Luis Ortiz's stock went down from this. I think he's just in the same spot that he once was. If this is what it's going to take to last the distance with Luis Ortiz, then so be it. To me, it didn't mean a thing to me. And the last thing that I do want to say about the fight is I don't want to see Malik Scott against another contender again. And I would like Luis Ortiz to get a bigger fight. I think he's due for it. It's not fair to keep throwing him lesser competition because the guys at the top don't want to fight him. So I'm hoping in 27... Well, no, at the end of... or next month, I'm sorry, he's fighting. I forgot who he has on the tab. I don't remember, but he's going to fight again next month, Luis Ortiz is. I just don't... Oh, against Joseph Parker, I think. I think he's fighting Joseph Parker, which will be a solid fight. But I'm hoping in 2017 he can get like a... an Anthony Joshua. If Tyson Fury's done doing coke, maybe they can fight. Maybe a Vladimir Klitschko. Who knows? I just want him to get bigger and better things. I think he's one of the better fighters in the heavyweight division. So Dennis, what did you think about the fight, man?
All right. Well, first, I thought a few things about it. One, I thought looking at it right away that Malik Scott came to survive.
Yeah.
Then at some point I thought, well, maybe he's trying to take deep water because he seemed to open up a little bit, just for like maybe 2 rounds, and then he went back to doing what he was doing originally, which was, okay, I don't want to get knocked out. So I just think that he knew he was out. Like I feel like fighters, they have the mentality that I want to win if I can.
Right.
Then once you get in there, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's what I thought. He's what I thought he was. I'm outgunned. I'm outmanned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is too much for me. Let me just say he didn't knock me out like he did everybody else.
Right.
I feel like that was the mentality. He can hang up. Hey, I deserve another fight. Luis Ortiz knocked all these other guys out. He didn't knock me out. Okay, that's what you want to say, fine, but that doesn't make you championship contender worthy. That doesn't make you lots of money. You know, you got to understand. I mean, but I guess certain fighters, they all have certain motivations. Because as you heard Malik Corner yelling, you're right in the fight. Go for it. And there's times where he even caught Ortiz with some shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, the worst to fear is over. He's hit you. He's knocked you down 1 trillion times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You felt this power. Go fight. Let your hands go. What's the worst that can happen? You knock you out. You knock how many people out? So go fight.
Right.
That's what I understand. But I guess that's what he wasn't in for that. But that's what separates champions from the guys that are just contenders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I don't want to call him a journeyman at this point, but
he's close.
Hey. He's
close.
Right.
He's damn close.
You know what I mean? He's striding the line of it.
Yeah.
But Luis Ortiz, I know what I'm saying about this. I think I would have came in there wanting to take his head off just off the disrespect that you're taking the fight a month later after the fight. You already have a fight scheduled next month before you even in the ring with me. The disrespect that says, you think you're gonna make it to see that fight? I'm at least gonna cut you. I'm gonna hit you so hard to where you gotta cut to where you can't have that fight. Even if I lose. Right. You're gonna have to reschedule that fight because you got a gas so big over your eye. You know what I mean? That's just my mindset. You're not gonna just the arrogancy if you're not gonna. I don't know, but everybody don't have to decide on it. But that says a lot about Luis Ortiz and about him wanting to stay busy and him wanting to be active. And I don't know who he's fighting because I know last I heard that I put it up is that the guy Andy Ruiz Jr. is fighting Joseph Parker for the WBO title.
Are they fighting
for that vacant?
I'm looking up his fight right now.
So I'm not sure who he's fighting in December, but that's a fight we could probably touch on later because I think that's a very interesting fight.
Yeah.
Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz. We're gonna get another champion, another heavyweight champion. But my thinking is Luis Ortiz has had that I think it's the interim WBA title. He's had that for a while. So I'm guessing the next fight that he's going to get is going to be for that WBA title. And if I had my say, I would love to see Luis Ortiz versus David Haye.
That'd be a good fight.
I think that is a tremendous fight.
That'd be a great fight.
If we can't get that, if I can't get that, I darn sure want to see the Povetkin. I want to sleep in that fight. No matter you look at it, Povetkin is a hard hitter. Stavern can punch. So the winner of that fights Luis Ortiz. Let's just say Povetkin. You get Povetkin versus Luis Ortiz.
That's a good
for
fight.
A title. Somebody getting carried out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see it going 12 rounds.
No, it might not go 5 rounds. Hell.
Right, it might really.
Yeah.
Like, whoever gets caught cleanly, these guys are heavyweights. They 21 pounds. Whoever gets caught cleanly in that fight, that might be the end of the fight.
Yeah, you know what though?
Either one.
You know what? I will say this though about the Luis Ortiz fight because you're saying things that are making me think about what I was thinking during the fight. I favored him over a lot of dudes in the heavyweight division, and one of them was Deontay Wilder, but I think Wilder beats him. Because Wilder showed he can move when he fought Stavern. But he's not just moving. He's popping that jab. He's unloading, check left hooks. He's throwing really good right hands down the middle. I think he beats Luis Ortiz. I think he does. That fight, maybe I'm living in the moment and I wasn't too impressed with Ortiz, even though I said his stock didn't drop because I still think he's a bad dude. But it's clear that he can't cut off a ring. And to me, if you can't cut off a ring on somebody who's not throwing at you, what are you going to do when someone's hitting you while they're moving?
Right.
That's my train of thought. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I get right now.
I agree with you so much. I mean, I really do. That's why I would say right now, if I had to just pick him fighting AJ or Wilder, just because they're so much more athletic than him, they can move, they can jab on the go. I would have to favor them to beat him, not because they're necessarily better skilled than him, but because they're so much more athletic and he's flat-footed and he walks looking for that one big shot without cutting the ring off. I think they can just stay away from him long enough to win a fight.
See, and that's the thing.
And plus, they both 6'6", so they have long reaches. He has to get in on them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I think.
Right, and seeing to the bigger point there too. That's something I thought about. We were texting while that fight was on, and my biggest thing was he's loading up on every single shot. There was one round in particular. I was in and out, so the rounds I get confused, but it was like mid rounds. And I remember Luis Ortiz finally threw like a 4-punch combination and landed a few, and I was like, "That's what you need. Set your punches up." Because, and the commentators even touched on it. They were like, he's loading up on every left hand. Malik Scott thinks that's the only punch he's going to throw at him. So even if it connects, he sees it coming. And I was like, they're absolutely right. So, and that didn't mean like, it seemed like Luis Ortiz was too busy trying to just land that one punch that he didn't want to miss anything. Rather, you know, if he worked the body, had he been popping jabs, throwing right hooks, something where he could set up that left hand, now we're talking. But he just, I mean, it was... That's what made the fight boring as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Malik Scott didn't come to win, but Luis Ortiz was just trying to get him out of there with one shot.
He didn't get him, like, if he would have hit the body, like you said, if he would have hit some, he could have got him out of there. He could have got Scott out with body shot.
Well, and then even to a further testament, though, he knocks him down with the body shot. What was that round?
Don't continue.
And then doesn't continue to go to the body. Like, dude, like you just hit him with a beautiful counter left hand downstairs. And then he gets back up and he's clearly like he was favoring that side.
Right.
And then you don't follow up on it. I was like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit of ring rust. I know he had been out of the ring for 8 or so months. Yeah.
Maybe he wanted the rounds. We don't know. We may wanted the rounds. That's why he's fighting next month. He may want the rounds.
Maybe. I would certainly hope so because I want him to be at his best if and when he gets one of those big shots. I don't want to see him like this against, you know, one of the top 2 or 3 heavyweights in the world. Mm-hmm. I don't think that those would be very competitive fights if he fights like this against them.
Agree.
Yeah. So we can move on. I think we've said all that we can say about that one, and I feel like we have a little bit more to talk. We have a little bit more to talk about with the next fight. So Danny Garcia, Samuel Vargas. As we and everybody already knew, this was just a keep busy fight for Danny because he has his fight with Keith Thurman coming in March now. What'd you think about the fight, man?
Sorry, okay. I'm on 5%, so I'm just trying to, you know.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're good.
Come on, stupid phone. I don't want to go back to it. All right. Now say it again, boss. Loop that again.
Okay. So moving on to the third and final fight we'll cover this podcast. Danny Garcia versus Samuel Vargas. Everyone going in, we all knew this was just a tune-up fight or a stay busy fight, however you want to paint it, because he just signed his fight with Keith Thurman in March. What do you think about the fight, Dennis?
Well, I'm not going to have much to say on the fight. I can maybe talk more around the things that covered the fight or things outside of the fight, the aspects of it.
Yeah.
Because the fight itself, I didn't learn much from this fight. You know what I mean? I know Danny's flat-footed. I know Danny can be hit. I know Danny can hit.
Yeah.
I know Danny is great at counter-punching. I know Danny is good at punching when you're punching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't learn much from this fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? From this fight, it was another day in the office. You know, so I could tell you a lot about this fight, but it'd be the same rhetoric that I would say about Danny Garcia versus Saka, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm more intrigued with Danny Garcia versus Thurman in the time. We'll dedicate a whole episode to that.
Yeah.
But more about, I mean, if I had to get into the fight, Samuel Vargas was a tough guy. I guess he gave Danny, you can tell because he said he wasn't in shape with the Spence fight. That's why it had the outcome it had. Well, he did seem a little bit more in shape. That's why he was able to recover from that shot that Danny gave him.
That was a monster shot.
I mean, that's what happens when you're in shape. You recuperate faster when you're in shape. And he was able to recuperate after getting hit with a good shot. You know, he came there to do what he could, you know, but he was clearly outmatched. I mean, anybody that know boxing, unless he closed his eyes, swung for the fist, and caught Danny with his jaw open looking in the crowd.
Yeah.
All of those things had to happen at once for it to be some type of upset. You know what I mean? So what happened was exactly what I expected to happen. I expected Danny to get him out of there. And he probably could come out of there early, but like I said, he was in shape. He was ready. He was tough. And the the type of fighters that cause Danny trouble are guys that move.
Yeah.
You know, if you move and you have a good jab, you're going to give Danny trouble.
Yeah.
A la Mauricio Herrera with his jab. A la Lamont Peterson with his much moving all around the ring. If you can move and you can jab, you can give him trouble. Samuel Vargas is neither one of those type of things.
Yeah.
He comes forward, he's tough, he's gritty, but that's all he is. And that's why, even though Danny is the type of guy, he finds a way to win. Danny is a winner. I'll say that. He's a winner. He finds a way to win, even when you think he shouldn't. But I just think Keith Thurman has his number because he has all of those things that it takes to beat him. He has foot movement. He has power. He has a jab. So if Keith Thurman is on his A game, I just see a unanimous decision going Keith Thurman's way. And you know what? He may have to try to put Danny down a few times because Danny and Canelo, guys of that nature, judges seem to like them for some reason.
Yeah.
I remember I don't know why, but judges seem to love them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that, you know what I mean? But judges seem to favor them. So Thurman is going to have to go in there and really be KOs for life. It's to solidify I really won. What do you think?
Well, to start off with the fight, I mean, everything you said is 100% correct. One thing, though, I will say that I felt like I did learn a little bit more about Danny. Two things, actually. Is one, he's been working on his right hand. That right hook that he hit Vargas with, I've never really seen that, but usually his money punch is his left hook. Right. So it seems like he's been working on that. Second thing is, and this could be the fact that he's fighting a guy like Samuel Vargas, and that's no disrespect. You guys, we've gone over this before. If you've seen us before, we're not being disrespectful, but he's clearly not a cream of the crop type of guy at welterweight. So I don't know if it was because of that or because Danny is starting to get more acclimated with the weight, but he did look a lot stronger this fight than he looked against Paulie Malignaggi and then he looked against Robert Guerrero. So that actually, I like that. I like that I think that way because now I'm even more, stoked going into the Thurman fight because I saw him look stronger. Even his physical appearance, it seemed like his back was a little bit bigger. He was a little tighter. It just he seems like he's starting to really fill in at 147. But other than that, you're right. I mean, we know what we have in Danny Garcia. The kid's a winner. He's a great counter puncher. He can't really move his feet all that well. Has a monster left hook. Doesn't jab very much, doesn't even necessarily set up his punches very much, but what he's very good at, like you said, is punching while you're punching, which is going to be very intriguing because Keith Thurman does that as well. He talked about when they said, well, what would you do against Floyd? He said, every time he throws that left hand, every time he throws his right hand, I'm throwing my right hand. It was the same thing that Tarver did against Roy Jones because people of that nature, that's what you like to do. And he did that against Sean Porter as well. Anytime Sean Porter came for that overhand right where he put his hand down, he did the same thing. He punches while you punch. And I think there's going to be certain moments in the fight where we might even see inactivity on both sides because they're not scared, but yeah, they're tentative that, hey, this guy knows when I throw, he's going to throw, which is going to make it a very interesting chess match, in my opinion. And like you said, I don't want to go too in-depth because, one, it's still early. I don't want to live in the moment. And two, we're going to have, in the future, a whole episode dedicated to that fight. But early on right now, I do favor Keith Thurman as well. I feel like even though we've seen him get hurt in the past, we saw Porter buzz him once or twice in that fight. We saw Soto Carras buzz him. We saw him get hurt to the body against, why am I blanking? Who hurt him to the body? With that beautiful uppercut. Collazo hurt him to the body. So we've seen Keith in trouble before. But I just feel like his in and out movement, his footwork is gonna be too much for Danny. I feel like Danny's not gonna be able to properly time him like he did against someone like Matisse when he fought the best of the best at 140. I just feel like Thurman's on a different level. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if Danny won. Because, like I said, we've seen Thurman hurt before, and Danny can still punch. I don't think he has the same power that he did at 140, but he clearly has power at 147. And if he catches Keith, because Keith can get a little wild. He's one time. He likes to get those KOs, so he can get a little wild, and Danny might take advantage of that. But right now, where I stand, I'm probably like 65-35 towards Thurman. I'm pretty confident that Thurman can take the win. And I'm actually, you said unanimous decision. I'm going late knockout. I'm going late knockout because I just feel, because my logic.
I think he has to, like I say, I think he has to do that.
Honestly. Right. And that's the thing. Because I agree with that. I think he's going to go in and think, look, we've seen him lose to Mauricio Herrera and win on the cards. We've seen him get very favorable decisions against Lamont Peterson. Right? We've seen that happen. So I don't want to let that happen. If I'm not going to knock him out, I'm going to at least put him down a couple times to help my case on the cards. Right. And I think couple that with the fact that this is the first time that Danny's really fighting a welterweight. Keith is a welterweight. Paulie, he's a smaller guy. He came from 140. Robert Guerrero came from, he fought at 135 for a very long time. And he's still always at welterweight. He was very overhyped the whole way. People who thought he could beat.
People seem to forget that Thurman was fighting at 154 at first.
He was, yeah, and then he started. And then he started cutting weight. Yeah, I mean, so I don't think Keith is like a huge welterweight, but he's a welterweight at the end of the day. And this is the first time. Right, so this is the first time we're seeing Danny against that. And that to me means a lot. That I favor Keith because we saw Keith handle the physicality of a welterweight when Sean Porter was leaning on him, when Sean Porter was bull rushing him. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I favor Thurman. I think it's going to be great. Hey, the one thing I do want to say is that post-fight interview was incredible. I think that was the best post-fight interview on PBC. I mean, they were, yeah, because they were going at it. And the thing was, I figured Danny would be pissed off too because Keith had that tweet, or it might have been an Instagram post where he was like, "Hey, this is your last cherry before you got to see me. So be happy," or whatever he said. And then so I figured that pissed off Danny because right after that fight, they were face to face, and Danny was like, "I'm gonna fuck you up." He said it 3-4 times. He was gonna fuck him up. So hey. All power to them because that's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. I'm excited about it. Do we know what network that's gonna be on? Is that gonna be Showtime or is that gonna be regular television? I haven't looked into it yet.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Honestly, I think more than likely. I don't even know if they do HBO. If it's gonna be regular television, it's gonna be Showtime. Because Al Heyman don't really do business with HBO.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be. Yeah, Heyman's still exclusively with Showtime. I was just wondering, will it be with Showtime or will it be like Fox? Will it be? I know they had that big card on Fox before. They had that big card on NBC. But I just feel like, and to get that authentic feel, that this fight needs Showtime. I think because PBC can. It
has that Showtime cable television.
Yeah, and certain PBC broadcasts are a little corny. You know what I mean? Like even yesterday, even though the post-fight press conference or the post-fight interview was very entertaining, it was like it felt like a fake Joe Rogan was in there, and it was weird. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. It was cool.
I would love to have like Paulie commentating for this.
Yeah,
because he can be able to break down exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
as a fighter because he fought a Danny Garcia already.
I agree. I mean? The Showtime people would be perfect for this fight. That's what they need. It's certainly, as long as it's not at the end of the day, as long as it's not Stephen A. Smith, I'm good. Because I can't bear having him out there again. That was terrible. That was god awful. But you know what though? The one thing I do want to ask you, because I want to say this, because to me, the winner of this fight is number 1 at welterweight. Not counting Floyd or Manny. They're old. They're gonna retire. I don't count them. I don't still count them. So to me, the winner of this fight is number 1 at 147. Do you agree?
Yes. You know why? Because I'm hearing Kell Brook is gonna fight. He said he don't want to let his IBF title go, so he's gonna fight Spence. And either one of those guys cannot claim to be number 1 at welterweight after that win. Timothy Bradley, which has a great resume.
Yeah.
But even if he come off a win, he won't have a title unless you say he fights Manny. Say he fights Manny and beats Manny, which won't happen. We won't see a 4th fight of that.
Yeah.
So only way, there is no other way to justify anybody else being number 1 at welterweight besides the winner of this. They will be the unified. They will be the only unified champion in welterweight. You know what I mean? They'll be the only unified champion. So yes, whoever wins this is the number one guy. They know they can say, I'm at the king, I'm the top at the throne. But I gotta say this. Thurman, I seen the interview, it really interested me. And this is why I like Thurman. Because they asked him, so Thurman, like, what are your goals? And he said, my goals have never changed. After this fight, I want every single belt in the welterweight division. Yeah. He was like, I'm not gonna drop a belt because I don't want to pay the sanctioning fees. He like, that's the cost you gotta pay for greatness. Yeah. You gotta pay sanctioning fees. So after I get this title, I want to get the other ones. Yeah. So he's expressly speaking to the winner of Thurman Spence. He's not beating around the bush saying, people don't even want to say Spence name like he's the boogeyman. Yeah. But he's letting it be known. If you Kell, Brook, Ortiz, whoever wins the IBF, I'm coming for that title too. I want all of them. Hey, that made me get chill bumps. Like, I love Thurman. I know. I do too. Mentality.
I do too. I love it. Hey, you know what? And I don't want to talk about this too long because if the fight gets made, we can talk about it. I'm seeing a lot of people, man. They're favoring Spence in this fight, and I don't know if this is controversial. It might be, but I'm gonna tell you guys this: if Kell Brook can make 147 healthy, still, I think he takes that fight. I'm one of the only people that think that. I mean,
Spence has a tremendous talent, but the fact is this: like I said, if he's not weight trained, if he makes if Kell Brook makes it, he's healthy, he's in good shape. I think he's just more ready at the time. I don't know if I can say it like that. Maybe if Spence had some big fights and you know what I mean. Yeah. I don't know what Spence can do yet. I don't know what will come out of him when he fights A-level or championship level opposition.
Right.
I'll say that.
Right.
I don't know what I'm gonna see yet.
Right. Exactly.
What happens when Spence get hurt? We haven't seen that yet. We've seen Kell Brook get hurt by Triple G. It's on the rope. Like, come on. Yeah. We don't know when Spence get hurt. Does he continue to fight?
Yeah. And see
what happens when he bleeds.
Right, no, exactly. That's the thing. When it comes down to me, is not only talent, because Spence is probably the most talented fighter at 147. And damn it, I could be wrong here. Because he has a chance to beat anyone at 147. The only thing is
absolutely
the thing with that is the unknown, just like you touched on. So to me, as impressive as Errol Spence has looked in his recent fights, his last maybe 5 fights that have been televised, he's looked brilliant. But what Kell Brook showed me against Triple G showed me more in that fight than Spence's previous few fights. I mean, this dude moved up 2 weight classes and gave what some deem as the baddest man on the planet I won't say all he can handle, but he gave him a lot of trouble. He was setting up his punches, hitting Triple G with uppercuts. He's using lateral movement, countering, pull counters with the right hand when Triple G missed the jab. I mean, he looked good in spots. And people are going to say, yeah, he still got his ass beat. And he did. Triple G put a beating on him. But it was a welterweight, or even at worst, a 154-pounder versus the best middleweight in the world. I mean, come on. But, I mean, if I can't, at this point, favor Spence over Brook. Brook is so talented. I feel like Brook is so underrated because after he beat Porter, he kind of had some powder puff wins after that before he fought Triple G. But Brook is a bad dude. Not saying Spence isn't, but I've seen more out of. I know what I have in Kell Brook.
It's just more proven.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
More. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And people say like, oh, well, who's Kell beat since Porter? That's what people saying. But we've seen him beat a legitimate champ. You know what I mean? And I want to know what happens if Spence is behind on the cards.
Right.
Spence has literally been winning every round of almost all of the fights.
Right.
You know what I mean? What happens when it's the 9th round and Spence is down?
Right.
Does he dig deep? Does he get wild and try to go for a KO and get himself hurt because he's never been down before? Like, we don't know. Like, so what do we know about Spence?
Right, exactly.
Have you ever seen Earl Spence hurt and had to come back from it? Have you ever seen him bleed and he got blood in his eye and he got to come back from that? Like, we don't know much about Spence except he's a wonderful talent right now.
Exactly.
So that's the things I look at.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we've had this conversation off air, and I agree 100%. I like Spence. Spence is my favorite. We're still considering him a prospect, he's my favorite prospect. He's an incredible talent. I love the way he fights. He comes forward. He's like a tactical pressure fighter. He's not just coming forward like a wild man. He's you know what I mean, tactically breaking you down. Tactically, not tactically. That's not a word. He's tactically breaking people down. You know, putting in body work, using his jab. I mean, he's a very good talent, but I know what I have in Kell Brook, and I don't know yet what I have. And it's not even just about the unknown. I know what I have in Kell Brook, and that's a special fighter. He beat Sean Porter more convincingly than Keith Thurman did. I mean, to me, when I scored that fight, I think I had it 117-111 for Brook. And when
even Porter said he was able to control me.
Yeah. Oh, when we interviewed him, yeah.
Able to control me and certain, like, you know what I mean? Thurman couldn't control him. Him. Thurman just outboxed him and was able to land the cleanest shots, but KO controlled him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I really, we're gonna get a chance to see.
We got a
great fight.
Hopefully, the thing is, like I said though, I just hope he can make 147, man, because he's gonna get knocked out. He's gonna get knocked out if he comes in and he's weight draining and looks like a skeleton. Spence is gonna tear his ass up. There's no way around that. I'm saying all this assuming he makes 147 and looks how he looks the same as he did against Sean Porter.
Try to make 147 right now.
Yeah.
He needs an advanced hand style. He needs to be trying to lose like a pound a day. Like a pound a week. Well,
I would certainly hope
like 1 pound a week.
I would hope he doesn't just hop right in with Spence. I would like him to get a fight in before he fights Spence at 147, so he could see.
Can because it's like mandatory right now.
You could cut a deal. You could cut a deal for that. If you sign the contract with, if he signs a contract with Spence and he has a tune-up fight in between, I don't always like tune-up fights. I think this is one of the situations where you need one because it's such a different circumstance. He just moved up 2 weight classes. He was already having trouble making 147. So now you let him fight, the number 10 guy, the number 12 guy, and see if he can actually make the weight.
That might be smart. And then cut to gradually get back down, like maybe fight your next fight at 150. You know what I mean?
Even something like that, I wouldn't be mad at.
You maybe you take a tune-up fight at 150 and then say, okay, I made that. Now my next fight, I'm going to push it down to 3 pounds to the 147. You know what I mean? Gradually bring yourself down. You don't want a Roy Jones Jr. effect when you're a lightweight and you come down. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't play games with your body like this.
No, you can't. So, I mean, but boxing is heating up, man. Showtime got their schedule out. There's fights coming this month. We're going to have another episode, Kovalev-Ward coming. And then right after that, Lomachenko-Walters. I mean, this month just alone was stacked. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. Before we close out, Dennis, you have anything you'd like to say?
Like us, share us. Hardcore boxing fans, show them love. Great site outside the square circle. We're here for you. We're going to continue to be here for you. Hey, tell a friend of a friend of a friend about us. But other than that, I mean, it's gonna be great. We gonna have a lot of great podcasts. There's a lot of great fights coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, subscribe, share. A friend of a friend. Tell grandma to listen while she don't got in the middle of her soap operas. Whatever it takes, help us get the viewership up. Subscribe to us, like us on Facebook. A lot of boxing. We're gonna come with a midweek episode for Ward and Kovalev because that's a huge fight and we're very, very excited about that one. That has pound for pound implications. So subscribe. We'll see you next time.